Timeout Talk. Timeout Talk. Timeout Talk. Timeout Talk.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another weekly edition of Timeout Talks, which is streaming on, of course, the one and only Kirk Minahan Show Network, sponsored by Chase and Throws Custom T-shirts and accessories, the Ice Shaker, and of course, we're on the Minifan Network. Josh and Ben back here. We've got a couple Wi-Fi things going on for the both of us here, but we're here. We're rolling. We are now streaming on Twitter. We're on Twitter here, so want to thank everybody for tuning in. We've got plenty to talk about. We've already got Pats are back. We've already got some people talking about the Patriots, so we can kick things off talking about your Patriots, but we'll be getting to some Week 15 stuff. We'll talk some AFC and NFC. This is going to be all NFL, all show. So if you are into the NFL, you can stay here. And yeah, we're going to start with your Patriots. I think we got Ben in a lag here, but Pats are back. If Stafford wins MVP, I'm going to snap. I think he has now became the front runner. And here we go. We've got MAHJF. Patriots have peaked. Pats are back. A little beef there. Yeah, we'll start off. We'll talk your Pats. 21-point comeback for the Buffalo Bills. Who seen this one coming? I'll tell you, it was not me. Although we did expect the Buffalo Bills to come out and give their best showing, they figured it out. They were able to rally despite the conditions, despite the snowy flakes there. Behind James Cook, behind Josh Allen, they figured it out. Guys like Hunter Henry were dropping passes. Stephon Diggs was kind of on he was on a tightrope there. He was basically held to nothing. He had a couple catches there, but he felt like a non-factor. And Pats fans are in a frenzy, Ben. They're talking about how they need a number one. Efton Chisholm needs to get more minutes. Tuning in to some Boston radio, everybody's freaking out. We've got, MAHJF saying that they've peaked. A lot of people, again, we're going to kind of talk more about the playoff predictions and the implications here. Obviously, we know that the Buffalo Bills did not secure the division win, Ben, but just everything thrown at you in the kitchen sink. Do you shift a little bit with your opinion on the Patriots?
Yeah, Josh. I mean, it's a good point with that number one take. Everybody was loving Diggs, and now Diggs getting a little hate. When some of those Buffalo fans reminding them of December Diggs, he kind of goes away in this type of the season. I don't know if it's his play style. He's a pretty tough guy, pretty physical guy. Sometimes he gets worn down a little. But, no, I think this doesn't really change my opinion. It just kind of solidifies it a little. That schedule, hey, they always made fun of me, Josh, for that Steelers 10-0 start and cupcake schedule, and this is what happens. I mean, you had that cupcake schedule, and your best wins were against the Bills, which is a good win, but that Bucs team not looking good. That Bucs team not looking as good of a win right now after that Falcons win. A shout out to Kirk Cousins. I did sip Kyle Pitts in one league, so I'm not too happy about seeing Kyle Pitts about that one. But yeah, Nardog, kind of. I like that one. That was a lot of a debate with everybody right there. Should the Patriots go all in? Should they try to, make a deep playoff push in this, sort of unknown AFC? And right now, hindsight's 2020. But yeah, right now it would have been nice to have another wide receiver weapon for May. Compliment Diggs. Everyone's saying Matt Collins is, he's having a solid year, but, Matt Collins can only take you so far. Booty's been looking good. Pop Douglas has shown his spots. So, another solid guy over there could alleviate some of that pressure. So I see where the Nardog's coming from. But at the time, hey, for the Patriots, might as well just roll the dice with this. You got a young team. I think the Will Campbell injury is huge for him. Some of those line problems starting to glare up a little. And obviously the biggest one, the Millen Williams, Josh. That's a huge one on that defensive side. You saw what James Cook obviously could do with Ben Williams. So I don't think it changes my opinion on the Pats, Josh. I think it's just kind of solidifies the schedule is a little too weak to begin with. I agree. I agree with Pats are back. Yeah, they're a top 5 team. I'll give them that.
And Ben, I think we lost you earlier, but I was just talking about, the Bills 21-point comeback, just reminded me of, that one thing I can talk about as a Cowboys fan, that comeback against the Eagles. But no, I think that there's a lot to kind of take into effect here. I think this is what you're going to see in the playoffs. You're going to see a different Josh Allen in the month of December. A switch is clicked on, and that Bills team is different. It's not early October. It's not early September. Things change. They're getting more film. They're getting their legs under them. Actually, you can make the argument that they had more impactful injuries than the Patriots, but that's fine. Referees were abysmal. I'll say that. They were awful. I will say from the beginning on both sides. From the very jump, that booty catch, and then, the Patriots, obviously good coaching decision there. Mike Vrabel, he gets on top of it. That play kind of goes under from without them. They snap the ball quick. All right, now they're moved on. Same thing happens for the Bills. The clocks work a little quicker there. I see the frustrations for both sides, but a lot of weird calls. Again, this is what it's going to take in the playoffs. Is you have to be able to overcome the refs, and you have to be able to overcome these weird, wonky plays. You look at a lot of the Patriots' history. They've won it on some crazy plays. And again, that's not a knock, but those guys stepped up in big moments. I'm not freaking out. I'm not even going to Ben's level with the schedule. I still think the Patriots are legitimate. And I know Ben's saying that too. I still think the Pats are back. You're right. They're still a top 5 team. They still got a great chance. Right now in my mind, I'm thinking divisional round. Like I've already kind of put them through the first round. I know that the Jaguars are making noise, and some of these teams can make noises, but I see the Patriots at the very least going to the divisional round. I think they win a playoff game, Ben. Again, we can kind of talk a little bit more about who they're potentially going to be matched up with in the upcoming weeks. But I guess the opening take here, I think the New England Patriots are going to be okay. They had some injuries, as Patserback had mentioned, just a lot. You've seen a huge difference in that running attack for opposing teams. With Milton Williams out there, he negates that. That's just a fact. And the New England Patriots, yes, their schedule hasn't been amazing, but you look at a lot of these other teams. A lot of these other teams have dropped winnable games, we'll say. We've harped on the Rams for losing that game against the Panthers. The Broncos, their schedule has kind of been, the AFC West has kind of been up. And, are we really going to, say the Chargers are that good? So, again, I digress. I'm not freaking out if I'm a New England Patriots fan. You already took the first game in Buffalo. You had to expect a split. They've got a big game coming up against a very scrappy and a very desperate team in the Baltimore Ravens, which we're going to preview later, Ben. But I'm not freaking out. I think they are pretty much a pencil in for that divisional round. I think things are going to work out for the New England Patriots. And, hey, Bakey, you can call it laughy, but I got to see it. I got to see it. We talk about these other teams. We talk about the Jags. I got to see it. Talk about the Chargers. Talk about one of the biggest teams that choke every year, Ben. Have to see it. Ravens have to see it. Are they even going to get in? So, I don't know. I think the Patriots are going to be okay.
Yeah, no. For the Patriots, I'm not as confident as Josh is in everything. Divisional round, I don't know. It depends who they're playing. If they're playing the Texans, Josh, I don't know. I know. I see a lot of Trevor Lawrence ones in there, but the Texans are technically right now lined up to play the Pats in the first round. So, I don't know if it's the Texans, the way that defense is looking, Stroud being healthy, Nico Collins looking good. Oh yeah, no, that's.
I was sorry.
Yeah, that's an awful take. Yeah, that's an awful. I'll throw myself in there too. I've been saying the Eagles have been good this season too, Josh. They're just the Super Bowl hangover. It's just not their year for the Eagles. So, yeah, that offense not looking good. Yeah, solid point from Patserback to Stafford's to lose, but yeah, I think for the Patriots, it's just the weaknesses are shown. And Drake May, everybody, obviously he was a league candidate for MVP and everything, but he kind of looked more to Stafford and even Josh Allen now. I mean, it's one of his first adversities, and he kind of crumbled. And obviously that defense, I blame a little more than that defense, and McDaniels maybe not calling as many pass plays as he did in the second half when you got Travion Henderson running like he did. So it wasn't all on Drake May. That defense needs to step up, but I think Drake May took a shot in that one. I still think he's one of the best young guys out there, but he had the game. I mean, 21-0. Don't make excuses for him, Pats are back. Listen, I mean, you got to find the way. Drake May's, he's been finding the way throughout this season. So, I mean, I know we all know he can do it, but that one just going up against one of the best quarterbacks in the league kind of just brought you back down to reality for the Pats fans. I think you're there. The team is definitely a top 5 team, maybe just because this league's a little more parity this year, a lot more teams in it. But the Pats are definitely in it. They got their foundations. You got the key pieces. So, I guess not total loss. I'm not totally trying to crap on them, Josh, but I think this just kind of is a little wake-up call, too. Just saying, just like us, hey. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I like that.
The masshole Jets fan coming in hot here, Ben.
That's my favorite guy. I love the Jets. The Jets, hey, Brady Cook. Brady Cook looked all right, but no, for the Pats fans, Josh, everything's all right, but just time, like I said, they made fun of me a lot for that easy schedule, so I'm going to bring up that easy schedule as well. Maybe we both got a little taste of real medicine.
I like it, Ben. And we're going to flip to the Steelers off of a huge Monday night win. They were able to, I know it looks a little closer than it was, but offense was rolling. They finally got DK Metcalf involved. I was able to just barely get into the next week, beating Jared. Shout out Jared and shout out Nick Profita in that league. But Aaron Rodgers, this is what you see at home. He looks great. Things are going good. They basically stuck the nail into the coffin of the Dolphins' little heroic comeback. They went on that winning streak. DK Metcalf gets in the end zone. Kenneth Gainwell with a good game. Then the Steelers are in the driver's seat for the AFC North, which is going to be leading up to a huge matchup in 3 weeks for the division against the Ravens.
I like that from Bakey on there. But no, just one last thing, too. We'll obviously get to the Steelers, too, but Josh mentioned it with the Pats. Awful calls in that game, but I will give Pats Nation that last one. That was an awful call. That wasn't PI on Carlton Davis, on Keenan Coleman. That one, a little dicey. That was a huge one to keep that drive going. Bills eventually scored. I'll give the Pats fans that one. That was a big play. So refs definitely took control of that one. And refs, there was another little bad call in the Steelers game. That's how I tie that into this take, that taunting one that I believe it was number 20. He was getting pushed around on that play. I forget his name. I think it's Brooks something, but he got a little taunting call. It's pretty weak of the Steelers refs over there. That led to a touchdown. So not the best calls in that Monday night game, Josh, but the Dolphins could have got all the penalties they needed in that one. I think we still would have came out on top. The Dolphins I wasn't scared, Josh. I wasn't scared of this one. This is the one we needed. Even when we couldn't score in the beginning, this is what we could do, Josh. And this is, hey, Aaron Rodgers can show you can be a competent quarterback still. He can, yeah. I like that one. See, Buck and Aikman, I don't mind those duos. I like Buck and Aikman out there. And they were killing me with that one. Yeah, Miami is just a whole mess over there. And benching Tua now. So that's why I wasn't too worried about this one, Josh, with this. But no, this just shows you the Steelers, we can take care of the bad teams. With Aaron Rodgers, we're not going to play down to their level. Rodgers will get us these wins. He'll bring us only so far, though. I'm still a little hesitant on this team from previous games. When we played teams like the Chargers and Packers and actual good teams, we kind of falter. So I think Rodgers definitely could get us this divisional crown, Josh. But I'm not too sure in a playoff run. Now I'm seeing Jeff Saturday say, look at this team, and now everyone starts to come around us, and I don't know. I'm not going to buy it. This happens every time we win a game this year, Josh. Everyone buys in, but we're good, but we got limitations. Rodgers can only take us so far with his 42-year-old body, and I would love to see DK get more involved, but this Arthur Smith offense is kind of driving me a little crazy too, but the defense is stepping up now, especially with Watt being injured. That was huge for them. Achane had been run wild, so it was good to see us control him on that one. But much like the Pats, in different regards, I think we've hit our limitations. At most for us, I see a wild card win. That'd be nice. I mean, hey, projected right now, we're playing the Chargers. If the Chargers came to Pittsburgh, with that banged up O line, I could see that one. Want a little revenge against that game a little earlier, but that's as far as I really see this team going. There's just so much Aaron Rodgers can do for you. That game was impressive last night, and we've had it's been a good season. Josh, I won't lie. I know I've had some bad games and everything. Fired Tomlin chance, but yeah, like the Maslow said. I wasn't even gonna sneak a couple playoff wins. I like that. I think it's just the main point of what he said right there. AFC's not elite, so that's good for the Pats and the Steelers. This Broncos team almost got it beaten half these games. The Broncos team is vulnerable, and Pat Surtain came back to that game, but he's a little banged up. They got Pat's back. Yeah, it's true. The Jags are looking good, and they can always collapse. The scariest team is kind of, to me, the Texans down there. I know I already brought them up against the Pats, but that defense is elite. Stroud healthy. I know Morty Marks just got banged up a little. But Nick Chubb's been emerging over there. He's had a couple spots over there that I've seen from him. And obviously Nico Collins finding his stride. So, like those guys said, the AFC not being the best is kind of beneficial to us Steelers and Pats, but I'm very pleased, Josh. I know that was a long diatribe of leading up to it, but I'm pleased with the Steelers this week. Good bounce back week. Set up a Pats-Ravens one. Let's go Pats. Not giving too much away in that one, but I'm going to be rooting for the Pats this weekend. Doesn't happen too much for me, but that's how it goes. So, but I'm happy. I'm happy right now, Josh.
And I think you should be. You won. You're on a 2-game win streak. Obviously that thrashing against the Bills, but again, I think you look at the Steelers. We're talking Lions this week. It's huge test. But then again, Ravens got their huge test. They've got the Patriots. So like you just alluded to, the New England Patriots play a huge role in what happens for the Steelers. And again, that it all comes down to that Week 18 matchup. Steelers versus Ravens. And if the Steelers can beat the Lions, who, again, I'm pretty sure they have to go into Detroit. They do. That'll be a tough environment. Trust me, I know all about it. But it's wide open. AFC's open. And, hey, the name of the game is just, I think, if I'm even just generally speaking, win your division. Like, that's the best goal that you can have heading into the playoffs. You get a home game. You're a top 4 team no matter what. And guess what? Yeah, you have an 8-6 record, and you've got a couple other teams. Look at let's take a look here. Drawing a blank here. We've got the Jags and the Patriots and the Broncos. They seem so far out of reach. You're not going to get that second. You're probably not going to get that 3rd seed either. But just having that division win, you could be hosting a playoff game against one of those, whether it's 5, 6, or 7. Right now, your matchup against the Chargers, that'll probably be what it is, unless the Bills kind of slide up and the Chargers lose a game to my Cowboys or something happens. But Ben, great to be a Steelers fan. The offense finally clicking. I think you want to see more consistency, as you've mentioned. Let's get DK Metcalf the ball. Let's lean on Kenneth Gainwell, because he's done a great job in the absence of Jaylen Warren, which I thought was kind of interesting. I didn't really watch the game. I did kind of a lot of scoreboard watching, but I saw Jaylen Warren was ruled inactive, but then he had like a catch on ESPN stats. Okay, all right. So maybe I was wrong. But Kenneth Gainwell. Okay, so that must have been what it was, because I had him in one league. But yeah, Kenneth Gainwell's done a great job of stepping up, and that's what the Steelers need to do. They need the Marquez Valdez-Scantlings. They need, the Fryer Moose and the Washingtons, those outliers, and just kind of lean on Gainwell. But I like what I'm seeing out of the Steelers. That was a good win. Miami was kind of a thorn in some people's backs. They've got a huge test this weekend. If they can go into Detroit, both these teams are this is a very sneaky good game, Ben. Both these teams are very, very desperate. I'd say even more desperate Detroit. Steelers can at least kind of control their fate. We're going to talk a little bit more about the NFC in a few minutes, but this is a huge game coming up this weekend, and I think we're going to see a lot of it. And I think the biggest thing for the Steelers is consistency. Can they be consistent going into the playoffs? Can they lean on a lot of these role players? Can Aaron Rodgers tap into that 2011 psyche, 2014 psyche, and maybe they can go on a run? But Pats are back. He doesn't like it. He's saying, sorry, Ben. He thinks the Ravens are going to take that spot. That's going to be a huge – I mean, that could be the Sunday night game of Week 18 going into it. I think the Texans and it's either the Colts or the Jags could be playing that Week 18 slot too. So a lot to kind of dive into. But that's kind of the big thing. Can we see what the firepower can we see if this offense can provide any firepower? And I'm going to be watching, Ben. I mean, my Cowboys are out. We'll get to them in a second, but consistency is the biggest thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, we're going to talk a little bit more about that consistency going into this next week, but consistency, Ben. I want to see more from that offense. And again, as you mentioned, I want to see those guys step up. TJ Watt got that collapsed lung thing going on there. Jalen Ramsey's been pretty solid for you guys. I was watching him this weekend, and I'm like, whoa, that sack that he had. I was like, wow, he actually showed a little bit of speed there for the old guy. So some of those pieces, if they can just gel, it's all about getting hot in the playoffs. Again, sorry to say it, Marianne, Ben, Nick, cover your eyes, Tooch, the mass whole Jets fan, cover your eyes if you're rooting for the Steelers. I don't think they're going to go far in the playoffs, but hey, all you got to do is make the dance. And right now, as a Cowboys fan, I'm looking out. But Ben, consistency is the biggest thing.
Yeah, as Pats are back, and you said there's just not enough firepower. If Josh Allen. If we go up 21-0 against Josh Allen, I think he's got a pretty good shot against us. He can get a couple 3-and-outs with us. But, yeah, I think we just got to keep peppering DK. Just look what happens when you get the ball to him. And we've got, Aaron Rodgers, a new guy, Kenneth Gainwell. He loves Kenny G. He's just his check-down guy. Kenny G's doing great for us. And like you said, Warren's a little banged up, but Warren adds a nice little spark to us when he's healthy and everything. He was playing last night, Josh. He just, there was an illness before the game. It was game time decision, but he had a nice couple of runs yesterday. I think for the main thing with this offense is just we can't get too stagnant with these checkdowns and these safe plays. We just gotta let it loose sometimes. And we've been bringing up too, having MVS and bringing Adam Thielen. I think gives Rodgers a little. There we go. I appreciate. Hey, there we go, Patsy back.
I love the Ben love.
There we go. Let's go, guys. No, but I think, having sort of these, I know everyone's joking around with them, Josh, and all this, but, having these older guys in the locker room, no offense to Roman Wilson and Calvin Austin. I know we found Calvin Austin a couple times this year, but, those guys are still young. Rodgers wants these guys, obviously played with MVS, and Thielen's just, one of the best vets out there, just giving him some of these other guys, that you can just rely on. He doesn't have to go sort of baby them around. I think it helps him out a little too. It just gives him a little more reassurance. So, kind of saw that in this game, and hopefully that can lead to a little more success, Josh. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, that Ravens game on that long DK pass, that was the first 20-plus yard catch of the whole month. 4 games, and we hadn't thrown the ball over 20 yards. Wow. So it's just like, let's just let it rip. Let's let it rip and just see what happens. You got you got DK down there. Calvin Austin's got wheels. Get some of these older vets in here that Aaron Rodgers trusts. Let's just let it loose, Arthur Smith. I'm tired of these checkdowns. Enough of it.
Ben not having it. Let's see. Do you guys think the pressure from not having to live up to the 15-2 predictions will help the Pats going forward? I like that. Shout out Justin Trudell, Patriots fan, former producer there of the Kirk Minahan show, saying the Pats are going to go 15-2. I like that. Do you think the pressure there, Ben, is getting to them? I guess is the question there. Did we see that on Sunday?
No, I think we saw it a little. I think we saw it a little too, and I think he was saying too, that with this loss, maybe the pressure lightens up a little for them. With this loss, kind of brings them back down, normalizes them a little. I think that does it for them too, for this team as well. I think this kind of alleviates some of that pressure for them, just kind of cakewalking through this whole schedule. This is a true test for them. Well, like I brought up earlier, I mean the Bucks. Bucks win and Bills win. The Bills still a good win, but that Bucks win's a little more uh, not tainted, but it's a little less of a good win now after that Falcons loss. But no, I think I think I read it right. I think it kind of lines up the pressure for the Pats, but I think they were feeling the pressure. Now this loss kind of lines it up a little more for them. They can play a little loose. Uh, just having this having this loss, kind of just a little adversity test for them right here, and they still got their, fate in their hands. They control their own destiny. So I think I read it right. I think it lines it up for them, Josh. I think I read it right. I think I read that one.
No, I think you did. And I think kind of to your point, like, I don't know who it was. I think it was shout out AJ, my buddy AJ, saying, I think they needed this loss. I think it was kind of a little humble pie. They went on that crazy run. It's always good to have kind of a loss going into the playoffs. You don't want to, it's good to face some adversity. And some of the best coaches, I'm misquoting it, but say, hey, you learn just as much from a loss as you do from a win. Some people saying you learn even more from a loss than you do a win. So, excuse me, I think the Patriots, they ran into a team that just, again, you kind of figured coming into this. We could just look at the schedule and you at least had to figure, okay, they're maybe going to split, if not Buffalo swept coming in. Nobody thought the Patriots were going to be this good. Maybe not even the team thought they were going to be this good. I'm joking. Obviously they did, but hey, they've done a great job of living up to the expectations. Again, we talked about, Ben, and you mentioned too, it's good to kind of feel that in the locker room that, yeah, guess what? They get to look back up at that AFC playoff picture, realize, you know what? We're still in sole position of the division. We're still, now we're finally battle tested as everybody's kind of been throwing that quote around. We finally, we beat the Buffalo Bills once. Now we lose to them. The sky's falling. Now we got a hungry Ravens team. We can take out one of the former, MVPs and Lamar Jackson and still retain the division. I mean, I think all it takes is one more win or two more wins for the New England Patriots. They've got pretty much an easy schedule after the Ravens. So I think it's fine. I think everybody needs to relax. You saw a little bit of a ref show. You also saw a little bit more of an angrier Bills team. It was kind of one of those things where, yeah, the play calling wasn't going great. And with time, Ben, they're going to be fine. I think they win a playoff game. I'm sorry, Masshole, Jets fan. I think they're going to win a playoff game. And you look at the standings there. Denver. I will say one thing, Ben, before we switch over to the NFC. Denver said a big screw you to every single person. Bo Nix took it personally this past week, and they put the Packers on notice. Quick shout out to Micah Parsons. Definitely don't want to see that injury, even as a Cowboys fan. Never want to see that. But they said a big screw you to everybody. They said, we're going to put everybody on notice. Our offense is going to ball out and put our defense on our back shoulder. And they did that. So now the Denver Broncos have finally won my respect, Ben. And I think that's the team everybody's going to be looking up to in the division, especially with the Chiefs backing out. But again, I don't want to throw too much word vomit at you guys. I can get rid of the banner here. This is what you're going to be looking at. Pretty much, we're probably not going to see a Bills-Pats meeting till maybe the divisional round. I don't see the Bills moving down to the 7th. I could see a little wiggle room there, but this is what you're looking at. You're looking at some desperation teams. You've got the Ravens and Pats and huge playoff implications for the Ravens there. Phillip Rivers and company, they're going up against a tough team this weekend. Pretty sure it's the Texans, so that's going to be a good little battle. You've got the Chargers playing my Cowboys. I mean, anything can happen there. Jaguars playing better. Bills off a huge win. And like you said, Steelers going into Denver. So playoff picture in the AFC. Everybody talks about how weak it is. Things are going to change. And then we're only 4 weeks out from the playoffs. So very excited to almost be there. I want to catch up with some of these comments, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Gonzo stinks. Come on. Yeah, there we go. No, he's all right. He's all right over there. But yeah, no, I mean, Denver showcased that offense. Bo Nix definitely heard some of those critics and everything, but that offense still a little confusing. I mean, it's a little hard to trust Cortland Sutton, R.J. Harvey, and all those guys. But they got a nice little squad over there. Troy Franklin, Evan Ingram's having a nice little second half of the season for him. Oh. So they got a little squad over there on offensive line, solid for him. So I mean, hey, Denver, I could get behind that Denver team. I could definitely see them going. Here we go. Yeah. Gonzo. Yeah, Gonzo's good. Gonzo's good over
Big
there.
fan.
Big fan, Gonzo. But no, for the Denver, yeah, they definitely earned a lot more respect in a shootout against the Packers. Kind of, I know they had the Giants one earlier in the year, that comeback, but some of these lesser teams they've been coming back against, and it's good to see them actually in a battle with a good
Sure.
team. Some people saying the Super Bowl preview. I know whoever was announcing that game was mentioned that a couple times. Kind of a boring Super Bowl, if you ask me. And I don't know if they get the juices flowing for everybody on that one, but for Denver, I definitely could. That game definitely proved a lot for me on that one, so I could see Denver making a little push now.
Yeah, Ben, they finally answered the critics, and that's something that you got to be able to do to be a playoff team. Quick transition here because I got to talk about these guys before we do our picks. I mean, what the hell, Ben? We haven't been on in 2 weeks. Me and you, we hype them up to the moon. They're off a huge 3-game win streak. The defense looks great. Everything's flying. George Pickens is arguably the best receiver in the league. What happens? They go to Detroit, get absolutely punked. They get bullied. And then the next week, we're thinking, all right, there's still a path. If the Eagles can drop 2, and, we're crunching numbers as a Cowboys fan every week. I'm watching scoreboards to see are the Bears going to lose a game, or the 49ers going to lose a game. The Eagles, can the Vikings help me out? The Packers going to lose. Need that draft pick. And then you let J.J. McCarthy do the gritty on you, who has been literally looked like a 7th-round pick, looked more irrelevant than Mr. Irrelevant, comes dancing in your end zone. The defense looks absolutely lost. Just outcoached again, Ben. I've talked about all season how much I love Brian Schottenheimer, so much they've dealt with. And again, I still think they're still dealing with, no matter what, they're always going to deal with the criticism of the Micah Parsons trade. Even now, oh, you know what? Dallas won the trade because they knew he was somehow going to get hurt, which is insane. But the point I'm trying to make here is this team, they were never going to make it, Ben. I was fool's gold. You were fool's gold. We both thought, maybe they can go on this crazy win. They won that Chiefs game. They beat the Eagles. They just fooled everybody. And this is what they do, Ben. They've done this for many years. And they at some point in the season, whether Dak's healthy or not, they find a way to just rope me back in. I find a way. I'm literally the prime example of what Stephen A. Smith is talking about. Again, I'm not boasting my chest and saying we're going to win the Super Bowl. I've never done that since Zeke's rookie year. But aside from that, this team is just a disappointment, Ben. We thought they fixed some of these issues. Again, I didn't expect them to go all the way out and make a crazy run, but I thought, damn, this team makes the playoffs. You don't want to see them. They're playing with something different. They lost one of their teammates. They're kind of corralling around him. They brought some fresh blood in here. Shavon Revel, who looked awful. I thought he was going to be a plus. I mean, Ben, they have so many holes. It's not even funny. The linebacker core, the offensive line looked absolutely abysmal. Nate Thomas sliding in for Tyler Guyton looked awful. Now I see why we drafted Tyler Guyton. Ben, I don't want to take too much time ranting, but if you're a Cowboys fan right now, you're thinking about the future. It's done. I know that there's a 1% chance, but let's play spoiler. I've never been a fan of let's just go out there and tank and get a better draft pick. I can't do that. I can't actively watch my team lose. It's never going to happen. But this weekend, you've got one goal ahead. Let's finish strong. Let's finish 9-7-1. Let's try to upset the Chargers. Let's try to play spoiler, make things different, help you guys, help some teams out in that AFC, maybe help the Colts trying to get in or whoever. I don't know. But that's all you can do. I mean, the Cowboys are absolutely disappointing in when push comes to shove and they play a good team, because that Detroit game, both these teams could not end up not making the playoffs, but had playoff atmosphere there, and that's what these guys do. That's what the George Pickens do. That's what the Daks do. That's what the Schottenheimers. That's what the whole culture does. They frail up in big moments, and that's why we're on the outside looking in right now, Ben. Wow, the chat's going insane, but
Hey,
yeah,
I love the chat. Come on. Yeah, here we go. Everyone's going to chime in on this one. They're the two stars today. Pat's
I
back
agree
and
with that.
Mass Hall. Stars.
Yep.
Stars. Yeah, no. I like that one right over there. No, but Josh, this one was confusing. I really didn't see this loss to the Vikings come back, and maybe I just got suckered into a little with this George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb combo, and Dak playing the way he is. He's Javonte Williams too. Gotta give him credit. That offense just is able to lure you in like that. But right there, yeah, that was pretty tough to watch. the gritty was tough to watch on that one. For the Cowboys, that defense was just never going to help them. That defense was never going to be there for them. Unfortunately, it's just a wasted year for a great offense. Not entirely, obviously not entirely the offense's fault. You can go all the way back to Jerry Jones mishandling or whoever you want to say mishandled that contract situation with Mike. Would he have made a difference, like Josh said? Probably not, but
No.
I don't know. Ever since in the season, ever since that point, uh, you know, all right, I'm back now. I think I'm back now. I'll keep it a little shorter, Josh, on that one. But ever since that point, this season's just been kind of a mess for the Cowboys, just mishandling stuff, and obviously, as you mentioned, the unfortunate death. That's obviously not on anyone's fault, but the Cowboys it just hasn't been the Cowboys' year, unfortunately for them, and everyone can point to this is always the same old Cowboys story, but I think this year they kind of just got screwed. It just hasn't been the year. Injuries piled up, and like I said, Jerry Jones just needs to reevaluate how he kind of just looks at this team and operates it. I think they did a good job at the end getting Quinnen Williams and all that, Josh, but a little tough for the Cowboys right now.
Yeah, Ben, I think you hit it on the head. Like, they addressed the problem. Since I've been a Cowboys fan, they've never been good at stopping the run. Ever. Every game you look at the Aaron Jones playoff ones, you look at Jimmy G when he came into AT&T Stadium, teams just run the ball right down our throat, and that's how they beat us. You look at the Rams that one year, I think it was CJ, I think I might be butchering his name, but CJ Anderson was like 40 pounds overweight and was just absolutely annihilating the Dallas Cowboys. And that was the year the Rams went to the Super Bowl, so credit to them, but this is what they do. They're the same team. They haven't changed. Their identity never changed. We thought it did. They beat up on some teams that were struggling. And I think you look at the Cowboys right now. I'm not a Stars fan, by the way. Big Bruins fan. But you look at the Cowboys right now, and then they are very top heavy. They have a lot of holes everywhere. I think their offensive line needs help. I think both of their safeties are going to be gone. They need to address that. They definitely need a lockdown corner or another cornerback because Trayvon Diggs is not it. Deron Bland can't be a number one, let alone I don't even know if he can be a number two right now. You have no edge presence whatsoever. I mean, your special teams, we sit and prance about Kevontae Turpin. I mean, how many times is he going to let a touchback go down to the one? Like he's not even as good as we think he is either. We've pumped him to the moon. Guess how many kick returns he has in his career? 0. So it's just, this is what the Cowboys are. They're overinflated, very, very hyped team. This is me just finally had enough. And like Ben said, they just weren't a playoff team. They tricked us. It was fool's gold. We'll move forward because we got to get on to some other stuff here. I got a little caught up, but you're looking at the Cowboys. They're still in it with that 1% chance, but we look at the NFC, Ben. This is where a lot of people think the meat and potatoes is here. This is where the gravy is. This is where the whole dinner is if you are a casual or you're in the NFL. You look at the Rams, top team in that conference, the Bears, the Chicago Bears, huge matchup against the Packers, Ben. I mean, and they could even be meeting up in the first round, which would be insane. There's so much juggling that can happen. I mean, you're seeing the Seattle Seahawks at 11-3 as the 5th seed. The Lions, Ben, we've talked about how they feel like a playoff team. They're outside looking in. Eagles, Super Bowl champions, Bucks, Panthers, that's an intriguing storyline too. Like, what's going to happen there? They're playing each other soon, but huge, lot of storylines here, Ben. I want to get your thoughts. Like, I mean, for me, it's the Rams, but you had to do a way too early NFC Championship. Like, who are you going? I think I'm going Eagles Rams again, but I don't even know. I really don't.
It's a tough one. I mean, I'm kind of sneaky on the Seahawks, Josh. I'm liking the Seahawks team. A little underrated. That defense is looking good. DeMarcus Lawrence having a great year for him. I'm kind of on this Seahawks team and a little dark horse team too. I mean, the Niners. The Niners, I feel like nobody's talking about them. I know that defense, Fred Warner's not healthy. That's a huge blow to them. But yeah, Christian McCaffrey's been healthy all year. George Kittle's back now. Pearsall, Jawan Jennings. Again, those wide receivers back together. I don't know, these 49ers. It could be a sneaky little team over there. So, but yeah, I kind of like that Rams Seahawks little NFC preview, like Rams Seahawks NFC Championship. To be honest, I don't think the Bears are ready yet, but the Bears. Hey,
Same.
Night Massel, there we go. Night Massel, there we go. What a performance from him.
See you later, Massel.
Appreciate it. But they're just an intriguing team too. I know Josh just mentioned that one, but the Bears, that defense leading the league in takeaways. If they get it rolling in the playoffs, Caleb Williams is looking good. He's making the plays where he has to. I know some people still chirp at him, and he's still not his full potential. James, aka James. But I think Josh brought up that touchdown. Who was it against? It was a big touchdown against the Pack. I think it was against the Packers. No, it was against the Packers. I'm blanking on it. One of these last wins. Didn't have the best game, and he got that game-winning touchdown on that 4th and 3, or game-sealing touchdown. So he knows when to make the plays. In that offense, DJ Moore getting back into it last week, so they've got the weapons. Caleb Williams just needs to make the plays, which he does. So Bears is a little sneaky team over there, but I'll go Rams Seahawks. A little NFC Championship preview. Nice little Division 1.
And hey, shout out Cam Lake. He's the one who did our intro song. Huge Seahawks fan. His big gripe, he's been saying, Ben, and maybe we'll see it this week, tomorrow. Maybe we'll see it in the NFC Championship. He's been saying we just can't beat the Rams. No matter what we do as a Seahawks fan, we can't do it. So let's see. I agree with you. I like the Bears. That's my team in the NFC. Not that I'm joking, but that's the team I'd like to see come out of the NFC is the Bears. But I got a weird feeling. I think Masshole alluded to it earlier. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to figure it out. I think the teams like the Bucks I can't take serious. The Lions being out, they've taken a major step back. If they don't get in the playoffs, that's very untalked about. 49ers, again, they've got a lot of injuries. They're a tough team, but I think talent and age is going to catch up to them. Bears, like I said, unproven. Micah Parsons, huge injury. I think Packers are a team you don't want to see in the playoffs. They always kind of turn it on. But my point here, Ben, I'm going to go Rams, Eagles. Little rematch in that divisional game, which the Rams were able to almost take them out. I think the Rams are the Super Bowl favorites, and I do think that they're the team coming out of the NFC right now. But like you said, a lot of parity, and hey, man, anything can happen in the playoffs. So excited to get to those. We're running shorter on time here, so we're going to get into some of our predictions for this weekend. I'll go quick. We talked a lot of time about them. I'm done talking about them. Huge game here. Shout out Jose. We're going head-to-head here. Chargers fan, or is he a Colts fan? That's for another day. Chargers traveling into Dallas. I thought this one was in L.A. Originally, Ben, I was going to say, yeah, Dallas, we play different at home, yada, yada, yada. I think we're going to lose. I do think the Cowboys are going to come out and put a little bit of a better game. I think it's going to be one of those games where it's like, damn, they kind of just got outplayed. It wasn't like outcoached or anything crazy, but that's another thing. I think the Chargers have the better coach right now. They've got a disciplined team that can actually go in, win some big games. I think the Cowboys are going to keep this close. I think this could go over the over. Again, I don't trust either defense. I think the Chargers just find a way to get it done. I'm going to say 34-28. No, I'll say 34-27. I think it's close enough, but the Chargers find a way to win. I can't trust my Cowboys right now, Ben.
Yeah, I'm not doing that either, Josh. I've been trusting them a lot this year. Like we mentioned, me and Josh been riding these guys all year. I've been kind of losing picks because of it and everything, so it's tough. But I'm going to tie this one into my lock of the week. This is my lock of the week. Give me the Chargers. I just got a weird gut feeling about this one. It's just the Cowboys. We can just going to keep bearing this point. I think that gritty just killed them. I mean, if J.J. McCarthy, who just got laughed off of my fantasy team, just gritties you, and I don't know what more. It's just demoralizing for this team. And as Josh just mentioned throughout the show, the 1% chance. I think they're going to show a fight. I think the Cowboys definitely going to make this an interesting game. They're not going to get blown out by any means, but just the way the Chargers need a win, just to stay in contention, the way the Bills are playing, the way the Texans are playing, gaining ground on them. They're only one game back. The Texans, Bills right on their heels. I've mentioned their offensive line woes. Going up against defense that's not really too imposing. Keep sort of Herbert safe back there and everything. I think the Chargers will take advantage of that one. Give me the Chargers 28-24. Going to be a close one. But it's just I'm going with the gut feeling, Josh. Gut feeling. Lock it up. Chargers over the Cowboys. Well, let me read those ones. Ooh, Pats 10.5. That's generous with the Pats 10.5. But I like those.
Wow.
Pats are back. Not bad.
His locks of the week. Yeah, Ben, can't trust him right now. And wow, Ben doubling down. He's saying, you know what? I'm going to prove a point here. He's been coming on the podcast talking how great the Cowboys are. He's going to take them to lose this week in the lock. I like it. Chargers, stingy team. They need it. Ben, I'm going to let you go first on this one. I want you to have more time to talk about your team. What do we think here?
Yeah, no, I said I was pretty happy about the win last week and everything, and all that was good and happy. But this week it's going to come back down to reality, Josh. Going into Detroit, this offense, yeah, they should have. They were in that Rams game, the Lions. That was a shootout, but that Rams offense is just deadly. So we don't have that offense to kind of compete with the Lions and go toe to toe with them in the scoring. Hey, thanks, Josh. Appreciate it. You changed that one. Yeah, we're in 6. We're in 6. A little tougher. Yeah, no, that's why. I'm not too worried about this game. Listen, we got the Browns next week at Cleveland. I'm be worried about that one and everything. But this one, hey, if we win it, I'll be pleasantly surprised, Josh. I just think the way the Lions are reeling, needing a win to stay in that wild card contention, just having a Steelers team. It's, we're a little high on ourselves right now. That defense still a little banged up. No TJ Watt. This isn't the Dolphins coming into Pittsburgh. We're going into Detroit. We're going into a dome. No weather conditions. These guys need a win. Just after that, they controlled that Rams game for a little part of it. Let it slip away. So they need this win to stay in wild card race. I got the Lions in this one, Josh. Aaron Rodgers keep it nice, keep it close, I guess, for a little, just because he always plays the Lions tough. But right now, I'm taking the Lions. Give me 31-21.
I gotta agree with Ben. I think it's going to be a stingy game. I just, we talked about that playoff picture right now in the NFC. Like the Lions are a game out pretty much. They need it, Ben. They just need it. Like they need this game more than anything. They've shown they can do it. They beat the Cowboys again. The Steelers are a better team than the Cowboys right now. But just, when pushes come to shove and, they've got the home field advantage here, I think they're going to get the job done. Gibbs has been unbelievable. That 1-2 punch. You're seeing Jameson Williams be able to flash. Dan Campbell, he's calling the plays now. He's taking the helm. They know this team with all their draft picks, they need to make a playoff push here. The Packers, some people thinking they can kind of fall out of it. I still think they're going to hold on. The Lions could win this game and it still not be enough. That's a playoff team. That's the number 4 seed in the AFC that you could be tackling. And it still could not be enough because you look at the Packers. They've done a great job. That tie throws a weird wrench. And then you look at the San Francisco 49ers with some huge wins. Then I'll go short and sweet because we got to move on to the Pats game. But I think the Lions get the job done. I'm going to say kind of low scoring. I'm going to say they get the job done 21-10. I think it's kind of a low scoring game for the Steelers. A lot of frustration. I think you can't bet against Gibbs right now. He's been unbelievable. I'll go fast here. We're running short out of time. Patriots 8-25 on the road. This is a big game. They're going to win. The Ravens aren't what we used to think they were. I think Milton Williams is going to be back. Even if he's not, you inject him into that lineup, this team's going to have juice. They're upset. Vrabel's very upset. He's a very good coach. He's going to prove to them why they're going to get this win. Ben's going to get his wish. He's still going to have a one-up on the Ravens, even coming out of Ford Field with a loss. So Patriots are going to get the job done. Drake May is going to play very well. You're going to see some early growing pains. And, hey, the Patriots, the biggest question mark right now, too, is they've kind of gone stagnant in the second half. I think they're going to pick things up in the second half. I think things are going to be kind of slow just for both teams in this first half. It's going to have playoff atmosphere vibes on the road Sunday night. Drake May is going to prove to New England and Pats Nation he's going to get the job done. I'm going to say the Pats win in the 10-point win, 31-21.
Yeah, kind of a weird week for me, Josh. I came Milton back. Still, I still even without him on that one, I mean, the Ravens, Still,
Ben wants it.
I want this one. I was just saying it's a weird
He
week. It's
wants
a weird
it.
week for me, Josh. I don't think this has ever happened. I've taken against the Steelers, and I'm taking the Pats. It's never happened like this before in the picks, but I got to ride with them. It's a weird week, but as Pat back said, probably that's going to be a big part in that Milton Williams one. That's going to be a big decision, big hole for them still. I just think the Ravens are reeling. I mean, the Ravens, they had some good moments against that Bengals team, but that Bengals team's just, I don't know, that Bengals team is
Poor
just
Burrow.
kind of, yeah, poor Joe Burrow. He's probably going to retire soon. But yeah, no, I got to root with my Pats guys. I got to get this sort of lead up against the Ravens, and I think they need a little, as Josh mentioned, revenge. Get back in that right mindset. Vrabel is going to pump these guys up. He's going to give them all the right headlines. Tell them which storylines to follow. Nobody believes in you guys anymore. Everyone's already counted you out. So he's a great coach. He's going to get them motivated, get them ready for this game. And I just think, normally, no, I don't think so.
No.
Pats are back. No,
Agreed.
I think he's just being a little baby, and just maybe trying to say,
Wow.
Yeah, no, maybe. Hey, listen, you can be a baby. You can be a little baby, Josh. He's warranted it. Maybe he's saying, hey, let's get a little help on this defensive side. Even though it's kind of his fault, him and Jamar's fault. A lot of money tied up in those guys, but that's another story for another time. But I think the Pats this is a perfect bounce back game for them. And I'm all in on the Patriots, baby. Let's go, Pats. Let's go, Pats are back. I'm riding with you guys. I don't know any of the phrases the Pats say. I don't really want to say any of them, but let's go, Pats. I need this one. So give me the Pats. 24-21. Sunday night game. It'll be close. It's going to keep all the eyes entertained. Yeah, 24-21 Pats. Borgalis late field goal.
I like it, Ben. Again, I talked about these guys earlier. I don't know what it is, man. You've seen it. Did I even add? Oh, yeah, I did. I added the right thing here. They're going to go on the road. They've put down. Yeah, Mariota's starting.
I think it might be wrong. I think I know.
Oh, I got it. I got to flip it. I got to flip it. I got to flip it, Ben.
We're not good with math. We're not good with math.
We're not good with math. I forgot to. Yeah, 180 degrees. I've got the Eagles here, Ben. I think that they know they've got to win one game. All the critics are out. They're off a weird, funky loss, and I think this team's actually a lot better than people are giving them credit. They've beaten up on a lot of those teams. I'm pretty sure they beat the Rams earlier in the season. They've beaten the Lions. They've shown that they can win big games. Jalen Hurts is going to figure it out. I think it's just a few things they need to change. We've seen Barkley slowly coming along. I think this is all in their little plan. The NFC, I think it's great, but again, they can beat teams like the Seahawks. They can beat a lot of good teams. That's my lock of the week. As much as I hate to say it, I think Jalen Hurts and company, they're going to come around. You're seeing Cooper DeJean playing probably some of the best defensive football I've seen all season. He can line up with anybody. He's made some great plays. He took Ladd McConkey basically out of the game last week, which was pretty impressive to see, but I've got the Eagles winning this one. I think they're going to do it handedly. I'm going to say they cover whatever that spread is, 6.5, hammer the over. Eagles they're going to play big. I'm going to say that they win this game 30-17. I'll go 30-17. Mariota has a couple turnovers. As much as I hate to say it, Eagles they're back. They're going to show that they're a playoff team.
There we go, Josh. Yeah, as I said, on mine, the lock for mine is the Chargers. Chargers over the Cowboys on that one too. But I'll bang out my upset as well, Josh. On this one, I got the Panthers. The Panthers. I know everyone's gonna be. Everyone's riding on the Bucs right now and everything. Panthers obviously both demoralizing losses, but yeah. Who had the worst demoralizing loss? I think the Panthers had the better one. I don't know how they let that slip. I think they're just in a better situation. Bucks, the Bucks coming into Carolina, I think that home field advantage is going to be big for them. So give me the Panthers in this one. I know no one's riding them, so give me the Panthers in this one. I don't trust the Bucks right now.
I like it, Ben. I like that. I would like to see the Panthers get in. I have nothing against Baker, but I mean, I think the Bucks are probably more of a team that could actually go further. But I'd like to see Bryce Young turn the script around. Canals. I mean, they've been great this season, so I'd like to see that. That's going to be a big game. Could be for the division, so that'll be a fun one. I'll go with my upset of the week, and then as always, I'll turn it over to Ben before we say goodbye. But my upset of the week, I looked at my phone. I was like, I want to make sure this is an upset. This is a team I just told you guys I'm all in for. I'm all in rooting for. I got a couple questions, but the Chicago Bears, they barely lost to the Packers. Caleb Williams is unbelievable this season. I mean, everybody talks about Drake May, and we talk about Jackson Dart, and they love Jackson Dart, even though he's been to the medical tent more times and he's actually thrown touchdown passes. But Caleb Williams is doing a great job with this team. He finally has a competent coach. Who was his coach before? Some idiot in Dallas now that nobody wants to talk about his name. But aside from that, Ben, this Bears team is going to prove to the world they're going to get a huge win. They're sick of losing to the Packers. They're sick of the bullshit. Shout out Big Cat. He's with Barstool. He's going to be fired up. I think this is going to be a huge win. Caleb Williams is going to show. Last time he threw a game-ending pick, I think he's going to throw a game-winning touchdown here, and he might even rush it in. I'm going to say Caleb Williams in the – I almost said Caleb Williams in the pack. Caleb Williams and the Bears are going to get the job done at home 28-21. And that's sorry, Ben. I just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. Shout out Pats are back. You were great. Masshole, great. Marianne, thank you for hopping in. Kindreth as well. Nard Dog, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Again, got some great viewership this week. So I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for hopping on a Wednesday. It was kind of weird. Some wonky stuff happened, schedule changes, but we'll be back next Tuesday. As always, I'm going to take off and I'm going to leave it to Ben for the final word.
Appreciate everyone as always. As Josh said, everybody for comments and Pats are back. Your Masshole, the MVPs tonight. As always, I appreciate it. Pats are back, always killing it with us. I'll keep it short and sweet too. Give me the Chargers as a lock, and same. It's going to be weird, but Steelers going to lose and Pats are going to win.
Call timeout. Timeout talks. Timeout talks.